I grew in so many different ways. But I was energized by the experience. It really was. I got a lot out of the guys in the room, the relationships, and that's really what attracted me to coaching in the first place, was the relationships, getting back into being part of something bigger than yourself and investing in people and trusting in people, and working to pull in the same direction and to win, to lose, to fail, and to succeed and grow from all those experiences. And so that's what I was hoping for, and that's certainly what I experienced last year. Would have loved to have ended on a better note, but certainly the journey was one that I was ready for at that point, and so I'm very thankful for that.
How challenging was it to go from 3 different quarterbacks, different skill sets, and trying to integrate them while the season is going on?
I think that the way that the guys approached the challenge really made all the difference. As you said, they're all very different, but the one thing that was similar with all of them was their ability to come in and work and put the work in and to have the right mindset. And it really started at the beginning of the year. We talk about it, about the humility that it takes, the confidence that it takes to play the position. It's a very difficult position to play. There will be peaks and valleys, and how do we manage that through the course of a season, the wins and losses and high-stress situations. And we certainly had our fair share of high-stress situations, and I felt like our guys, all 4 of them really, did an unbelievable job of managing those. And I think that's a big reason why we had success as a team.
Just talk about how your experiences as a player, having gone through that, help them. You were able to help them get through those peaks and valleys because you've been through it. Did you have a coach who played when you came through it, and how do you think that your experience sort of helped?
Well, I don't think that my experience helps them get through, the stress of it. I think the stress is the stress, and you have to build tools to manage that stress. And I think I can help them look into some of those tools, but everybody's different. Everybody has different tools, and I try to help them anticipate some of the stress that will be coming, maybe some of the heat that's around the corner, how to handle you guys. But it's a difficult position. There's no easy way. You have to learn from experiences. I do the best that I possibly can to prepare them for that, to help them to understand that there will be ups and downs and how we manage through that. But ultimately, the best way that you can manage that is the relationships on the team and in the locker room. And that's what each one of them had.
How did the relationship grow?
Hold on,
Jennifer.
What were the key factors in you coming back for a second year?
Some of the stuff I just talked about, I was fulfilled in the job. I talk with our guys a lot about self-actualization, and this is an opportunity for me to embrace a new challenge in my life at this point in the journey. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity. I think there are some experiences and unique skill sets that I have that can help. And I just love being a part of a team and competing and winning and losing.
What's your first impression of Sam Darnold? What do you like about his skill set, his professionalism?
Yeah, Sam has come in and he's been about the work. He's been through a lot in his career. I think everybody that knows football or watches football can see the skill set that Sam has. To me, it was about, can we give him the structure and the stability upon which that he can see how good of a player he can be. And I think that our system, our offense, is tailor-suited to a quarterback coming in and finding their footing and getting stability. And so Sam has that opportunity now. Now we'll see what he does with that opportunity.
When you talk about those tools, how unusual was it for someone in Brock's position to come in with them so developed?
Brock's got a lot of work to do. He had an unbelievable year. I think I said to some of you guys last year.
More the mental and emotional tools.
I think that Brock has an even demeanor. Mm-hmm. And he's played a lot of football, so he's been in some of those situations. He's had to deal with some of those peaks and valleys, and I think he was had an emotional maturity about him. I think that he has a lot of experiences that he hasn't had, and he had a lot of them last year, and some that he dealt with unbelievably well, pressure situations, playoffs. I mean, I remember my position as a rookie, I didn't know where the restroom was. It was, and then to step into a huddle with guys like George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams, and to be able to handle that emotionally, to be able to handle the offense mentally in a high-pressure situation, in a playoff situation, was not normal for a quarterback his age. And so he's got an unbelievable start to his career. Now, there's a lot of things that Brock can and needs to get better at for this team to go where we want to go. And Brock and I, we've had that conversation, and he knows. He's the first one to tell you. And that's normal, too, for a young player. So I'm excited to get him back, get him healthy, and see how good he can be.
When you guys are on the practice field together and he's watching just alongside you because he's not throwing, what are the conversations like, and what's he doing that we're not seeing behind the scenes in terms of getting ready?
Oh, he's taking all the mental reps. Mm-hmm. He's doing everything he can to get ready physically and mentally. When I'm out on the practice field, I'm coaching the 3 other guys too, so I'm not having a lot of deep conversations with Brock at that time. Yeah. So, I think it's really, when you're hurt and you're injured and you're taking mental reps, it's on you to take those reps.
But during the season, is he like a guy that'll text you a lot or go by the office a lot to ask questions? How, like those last 2 months of the season, how did that go with him?
I don't know what's normal, to be honest with you. I mean, we have our conversations, the conversations we need to have. Mm-hmm. I hope they're not on text. I'm more of a face-to-face kind of guy.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you want to see him continue to develop this year?
Every part of his game. I think that when you're thrown into the fire, there's a lot that you learn on the fly. And there's a lot of things that we all saw that he does really well. His composure, his accuracy, his escapability. I'd love to see him continue to grow in every aspect of playing quarterback, and that's timing, it's rhythm, it's accuracy, it's reading defenses, it's playing from the pocket, limiting turnovers, giving our team the best chance to win.
What's your role in terms of helping establish the quarterback depth chart?
I don't know. I've never had a conversation about it.
What market differences have you seen from Trey Lance last year at the beginning of the season versus now?
I think that Trey had an unbelievably difficult season, and I was so proud of what he was able to accomplish because nobody wants to be in that situation, and Trey did everything he possibly could do last offseason to get healthy, and I don't think that people realized how difficult that was for him, all the while trying to go out every single day and prove that you can be the guy to lead the team. And I've been in that situation. That's not easy. And then to be at that position, to finally have an opportunity to go out and play, and then to get hurt so early, it's devastating. It really is. And I'm so proud of Trey because he did not let it. It did get him down, but he didn't let it keep him down. And he came back, and he was around the team. Obviously, he couldn't play on the field, but he impacted this team in a positive way, and you could feel it. I could feel it. I could feel it in our quarterback room. I know Brock could feel it. I know the guys on offense could feel it. And that's not a given, especially at a quarterback position. Like, you could slink away and just go lick your wounds and get healthy and come back next year, but that's not who Trey Lance is. And that's why I told him I was so proud of him for what he was able to accomplish off the field because he wasn't able to do it on the field. So I'm just happy that he's back, he's healthy, and he can go out there and see how good he can be.
Following up on that, last year at this time, we knew Trey was going to be the starter. This year, it's more uncertain what his role is going to be. How can competition, maybe being in more of a competitive situation, help him, and how has he responded to that so far?
Well, there's always competition, guys. I mean, whether it's real or imagined, there's always competition. I mean, if you're not competing with yourself, even if there's nobody to compete with you, then you're not going to be a starting quarterback very long. So Trey doesn't need competition to see how good he can be. I don't think that Sam does. I don't think that Brock does. I think that at the end of the day, if you're not internally motivated to be a quarterback in the NFL, then you're not going to be a quarterback for very long.
How do you evaluate Trey's confidence? Same with Sam, given all the adversity they've been through in their career.
How do I evaluate his confidence? Well, you don't know how confident you can be until you go out and play.
Mechanically, He's been working on that with Jeff Christensen. How much of a challenge will it be to make sure that he carries over some of those improvements to live action, and what part of that process are you going to have in coaching him?
We've talked a lot with Trey about a lot of different aspects of his mechanics. I think a quarterback throws how they throw. I think you only start to address it when it becomes an issue, whether it's accuracy or he had some arm soreness in years past. But he's put in the work, and I give him credit. He's got to a point now where, like I said, where he's healthy. A lot of the mechanics stuff is, I think, overblown because he had a broken finger. And if I had a ball, I'd show you guys how hard it is to throw the ball without your index finger touching the ball. So that's incredibly difficult, and it's almost impossible to throw a spiral that way. So I'm happy that he's healthy and that he can actually pronate and throw the ball the way it's meant to be thrown, and that he can give himself a chance to compete. How
Curious were you to see how his ankle is responding and how the footwork has come along since the injury?
Yeah, I think, that was a gruesome injury, and I guess I didn't know how he was going to come back from it. I don't really know a whole lot about those injuries, but and I know that he had to go back in and have work done to it, and so, like I said, to Jennifer, it's just a very difficult season for him, and you got to give him credit for sticking through it, being a part of the team while he was going through it, to getting back healthy, and I haven't seen any impact from the ankle so far in OTAs.
Is Brock being injured as well now, kind of doing the same thing that Trey was doing last season? Same participation level, obviously, but...
Yeah, it's a little bit different, because we're in the off season than in season. But Brock's in all our meetings, and we're asking him the same questions we're asking the other guys. We're not giving him any mental breaks, and I think he's itching to get back out there. It seems like it's been forever since he played, but when you look back, I think it's only been 4 or 5 months. So for him to have taken a month before getting the surgery, then having the surgery, and now being post-surgery, and now just starting to throw the ball again, I can feel he's already anxious to get back out there. We got to be smart and take it slow, because you just don't want any setbacks.
You see J.P. Mason really heat up at the end of the year. What's the ceiling for him and the jump that we always see from rookies going from year 1 to year 2?
Unlimited. I mean, he's another player. And throughout my career, we've had a lot of success, with those free agent down the line, low round draft picks, etc. And I coach them all the same personally, etc. And he was already here, when I came in, but I've seen tremendous growth mentally, the way he matures in all areas of his game. And I'm still expecting a lot more out of him.
Was there a week down later in the season where you saw it all really click for him?
No, I can't. I'm not going to say, one game that it clicked. It was over a period of time, and it was constant, and throughout the practices and the meetings. I could see the growth in there, and regardless of the number of reps, okay, in the individual periods, and if sometimes players get more reps, it just depends on who's in the lineup, how many guys are hurting. You want to look after your players, during the season. So the key guys, Mitchell, Christian, we want to look after those guys, and so that allowed more turns, more reps, for Mason, and it was showing up, and so when he got his chance and when he got the call, he was ready to ball.
Thanks, Coach.
Kyle's talked about Elijah before, where he's constantly screwing up his call sheet because he'll think it was like a 2-yard gain, and then look up, no, it was 5. And then it was 5, no, it was 7. Is that something you can coach, or is that something you just have?
You have.
Yeah.
You have it. That's first and foremost. And then the other part of it, and last but least, is the coaching. Okay, it's the coaching part of it. So you're stressing constantly about the positive yards. Number one is our philosophy. My philosophy before I even became an NFL coach, my whole life was no negative yards. And to finish north and south, with your head and eyes looking upfield at the goalpost, rather than lateral, sideways, in other words. Okay, so if I'm finishing north and south, that's an additional 2 to 3 yards. And then at the end of the day, adding up on the numbers of carries, look how many more yards that adds up to. But he runs hard. The player himself, okay, he runs behind his pads. He's not afraid of contact. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things that would like to do, this year. Obviously, to keep him fresh.
Yeah.
But so he doesn't take those direct shots, etc. But then there's a time when you're in that small box, that small area, that we call it finish, and you're finishing upfield, and you want to be the guy that's attacking and not getting hit. And that's that's his style.
You talked about the success you've had coaching the later round guys and drafted guys. What's it like coaching Christian McCaffrey?
Oh, yeah. I wish I had him earlier in my career. Yes, first and foremost, Christian is an outstanding individual, person, that loves the game, and he wants to be the best of the best. And very coachable. And before I can even start coaching him, he knows what he did. He knows, and he wants those coaching points, and he enjoys it. But he's also a player that he can just look at himself, and even when the play's in that he felt something just wasn't maybe right as far as his depth, or he could have gained another yard, or his read, or whatever it was, he's aware of it.
How unusual is that for have you had a lot of guys like that, or is that?
No, I haven't had a lot of guys like that. I had to do more. The finished product. I've had finished products that way, but not coming in from jump without me spending time coaching them. Okay, whereas he's just wired like that. He was already intelligent, smart, but there's a football, what I call instincts in football, and he has it all.
What makes Jordan Mason such a good fit in this offense?
The way, his style of running. His style of running. He loves. He's an outstanding runner. He breaks tackles. He loves contacts. In this style of offense, number one is me speaking.
Yeah.
I want toughness.
Yeah.
Okay, not only mental toughness, but a physically tough runner, and he possesses that.
I mean, it's been a while, and I've been around a lot of different rookies. It was part of the evaluation for sure, is making sure that we had two guys that were going to be able to come in and handle the workload, because it's in a lot of ways they're asked from a mental volume standpoint to carry almost as much as the quarterbacks, just knowing run game, pass protection, routes, and there's a lot there. So we're always making sure that we're going to take somebody that can handle that.
Would you say that the tight end position with the 49ers is completely different, or I guess the responsibility level is different than with other teams?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been in with all these other teams, but it sure appears that way. But
what is it? What do you expect from? What are goals for George? I mean, he's done so much. How do you? I mean, I know he's self-motivated, but what is it that you want him to get?
I just want him to be the best player that he wants to be and achieve his goals. And we've talked about those. You can ask him if he wants to share them with you, but I just view my job as being part of the support system that's going to help him get there. And it's well beyond me. I mean, the impact his family has on him, I'm sure, and all the investments he's made in his own body and his own facility and those sorts of things. So I'm just a cog in the wheel.
Is there anything in particular during the offseason that you say, okay, hey, these are things that I think would be beneficial to your?
Yeah, absolutely. We spent a lot of time together, going through every single play from last season meticulously, and I come up with some things that I feel like he needs to reattach himself to or focus on this year that can help him either get back to doing things he maybe did previously or take his game in another direction. And hopefully we'll just be in a state of constant evolution while we're working together, because his skill set's going to change too. It's inevitable as time goes on. People's bodies change, their skills either diminish, and they have to accentuate other parts of their game. And so, hopefully it's a journey we're on for a while.
Well, it was interesting. I was pulling up video and I saw what he looked like as a rookie.
Oh yeah.
And what he looks like now. He looks completely different. It's been a while, but
yeah.
Still, the development is remarkable. What have you seen? I mean, I know you've seen his film back then, but what is it, what's the most important thing that he's developed over his career?
I mean, it's just confidence and just knowing that he really is one of the best players on the planet at his position, and he's not afraid to tell you that. I won't say it, I'll let him say it, but I think there's just something that comes in any profession with that level of experience, and just knowing you get to a point where you're one of the best and you can go out and execute it, and so I think that's really it.
just the history here, the Super Bowls, the championship pedigree. I mean, it's right here in front of you every day when you're walking the building. So I think as a coach, you walk in here and you know that there's a lot of great guys that have come in front of you, and you better bust your hump to try to keep up.
Kyle has talked about the challenge that he gave Steve Wilkes on the defensive side when he joined the staff to really assimilate with what the team is doing. What has it been like on the offensive side of the ball under Kyle specifically? I guess this is more of a general question about how Kyle runs the ship of the coaching staff.
Yeah, I don't know. Could you say that one more time?
So Kyle talked a lot about how he challenged Steve Wilkes when he hired him from Carolina to really learn how the 49ers defense had done stuff over the past several years. Obviously, though, that's the defensive side of the ball. I'm wondering what it's like on the offensive side of the ball to really integrate with the Kyle Shanahan staff.
Yeah, well, I'll say that the first thing is that Kyle, Kyle films his meetings. So when you're a new coach coming here, you get a library of the team meetings, the individual meetings, the meetings with the coaching staff. So you can lock yourself in the room and you can hear how Kyle coaches the installs and how Coach Firster works on the run game. You get a feel by yourself in a dark room of how he does things. And that's something that I've been really fired up about to be able to get caught up, and just see how he runs a team, see how he runs his meetings, hear his coaching points without having to spend 10 years with him. I can go, listen to his videos and have a more, be more comfortable with what he's asking us to do. So
that goes back to Bill Walsh. He filmed his meetings, and obviously you have some family history with the 49ers. Is that something that, like a technique, I guess, that you're familiar with?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is, and I think it's just a great idea. There's a lot of different coaches from a lot of different backgrounds, but having a shared language and being able to, we might have a lot of the similar thoughts, but if we can't speak the same language on game day, you're missing out on an opportunity to maybe make an adjustment, a down in advance. Like if you can't communicate and you're missing out on 2 downs, that's the difference in winning and losing a game. So being on the same page here in those videos, that's really important.
Do you remember the first time in the
I really don't. I honestly didn't know Kyle very well. We grew up around each other. I guess I was a little bit younger, so he was ahead of me. I've always followed his career, but this is definitely the most time I've ever got to spend with him.